am she, I am me, I am we. Now this is 2021, unprecedented, a time of uncertainty, that's understood, a time of fear and of loss, but also a time for faith. I will lean on that which we have already built. He will stand, she will rise, we no tout. Piti épicoi, jaune et rouge, nous toutes sécuritaires, we will do it. We will ride that wave, not just because we want to do it, but because we dare to do it together.
People-centered, community-focused, building economic empowerment and resilience in our constituencies. Let's talk. Let us discuss. Constituency Vibes with me, your host, Ricky Alexander, every Wednesday on Sky FM 93.1 from 8 p.m.
Good evening, listeners and viewers, and of course, it is Wednesday night, and our program is Constituency Vibes, and I am your host, and of course, it is indeed a joy and pleasure to be back with you. I want to convey all my thanks, gratitude, and appreciation to all my fans, supporters, and well-wishers who expressed their kindness and warmth for my speedy departure while I experience my speedy recovery while I experienced a minor departure from health last week. So, of course, it is indeed a joy to be back with you. And as we always do, we go into our house cleaning rules for the show, so we want to keep it clean. Thou shalt not use language that is deflammatory, insulting, or offensive or slanderous to the host, guests, and public officials or persons in general. Thou shalt not listen to thyself on the radio, as it may cause feedback or echo. Thou shalt turn your radio down. You will be able to hear the host through your phone. So please turn your radio down. Thou shalt practice good etiquette when expressing your viewpoint. Thou shalt choose to identify the area that thou art calling from. Thou shalt respect the views of other callers without making insults or abuses with reference to previous callers, even though you may disagree with what the caller's point of view. And thou shalt be gentle and civil at all times. So listeners, viewers, welcome to our program Constituency Vibes. It's our program which focuses on the government's holistic approach to sustainable development in a people-centered way to deliver progress and growth to the people of St. Lucia constituency by constituency. It is pivoted on the concept of economic viability, environmental soundness, and social equity. Within this development framework, the government's approach to growth attainment encompasses development of a sustainable society, conservation of our biodiversity, development of our human potential, promotion of public participation, and peace. This, listeners and viewers, are at the heart of government's focus on building a new St. Lucia, which is based upon a people-centered and community approach, which is geared towards harnessing growth and prosperity, a focus on our nation building through promoting peace and forging meaningful partnerships in the broader framework to advance our economic interests. This is done through our broad philosophy of planned strategic thinking designed to fight the wrongs that needs resistance and to help the cause that needs assistance. This government's development approach is visionary and forward-thinking through the leadership of our Prime Minister, Honorable Alan Shastney, who views meaningful participatory development as a process of planned change and managed learning. Listeners and viewers, before I bring on my guests, considering recent events in the holy sanctuary of the Forestier SDA Church, tonight, before I bring on my guests, I want to focus a bit on the political rhetoric and the political dogma as we are in this season. What I think George Lamin, who calls it a seasonal cockfight every 5 years, in which we decide which cock will eventually win. In a word, dogma is absolute belief of any kind. To a man with only a hammer, every problem is a nail. In the political sense, to a man with only a political hammer, every problem looks like a political nail to be hammered with political brute force and venom, which is often accompanied by aggression and verbal hostility. The question one may ask is, what causes a mind to misfire in this way? Psychologists and related experts indicate that when the mind is convinced that something is incontrovertibly true, it ceases to update its views on that area of reality. Any dogmatic ideology, then, can be seen as a kind of malware or virus attempting to infiltrate our mental computers. Dogmatic ideologies, religious, political, and otherwise, are essentially trying to convince your mind to freeze into certain type and remain that way for a very long time, if not for the rest of one's lives. To allow one's mind to freeze is generally disastrous, as a mind incapable of updating itself will end up to adapt very poorly to a complex world that we live in. I have added my views to the political verbal warfare in this country, which is at volcanic temperatures and is fueled by attacks that border on political racism and hatred. In an article which appeared in the Voice newspaper Saturday, 13th June 2020, written by yours truly, entitled, "A Cancer of Undiluted Hate, Prejudice, or even Racism Being Purposely Cultivated in the Politics of Our Country," I want to share with you tonight some excerpts from that article. There has been for some time a perverted, spiteful, and vicious attack on the non-negritude of Alan Shastney by virtue of what Valenjon refers to as the pigmentation of one epidermis. There appears to be a relentless pursuit to attack Prime Minister Shastney with what perhaps now clearly borders on the realm of open racism and prejudice because of the color of his skin. The parliamentary opposition unleashed its political diatribe with a missile of attacks on Prime Minister Shastney. One of the unforgettable projectiles of antagonistic expression was that those who control economic power want to control political power. Racial prejudice, listeners and viewers, particularly when motivated by hostile party political radical rhetoric, ferments, fuel, and cements a kind of hatred that breeds unhealthy tensions and contributes to violence that is uncalled for. As Martin Luther King Jr. reminds us, the ultimate weakness of violence is that it is a descending spiral, begetting the very thing it seeks to destroy. Instead of diminishing evil, it multiplies it. It is to be noted that the psychology of violence is not only manifested in its physical attributes or reactionary responses through brute force, but it lingers and anchors in the form of a permanent domicile in the mind, infects and contaminates the heart and soul, robbing it of kindness, love, and positive affection towards others. That is a unique and rare disease that is malignant and contagious at the same time. Such a philosophy advanced by political detestation is un-St. Lucian, does not set a good example for our youth, and must not allow to take root and flourish. Certainly, one can disagree with the philosophy and arguments of the Prime Minister without cultivating and breeding political hatred in the society. So to my point on political dogma, which is absolute belief of any kind, I will focus on the political campaign style or the political dogma of some candidates. With respect to the violation of the blessed sanctuary of worship at Forestier, I share this perspective on the political rival to the incumbent parliamentary member of Castries Southeast. Listeners and viewers, about a little over a month ago, I was part of a team of Minister Guy Joseph who went on a community project at Wavin-Croissant. Surprisingly, the political opponent, Mr. Joachim Henry, arrived in the area and made his way to the project site close to Mr. Guy Joseph. Minister Guy Joseph immediately left the area where Mr. Henry was and went to a reasonable distance from Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry proceeded with his campaign of interference and political propaganda, telling the project workers from the community that Guy Joseph is giving all the big contracts to Fresh Start and they are getting pittance. He spent hours on the project site spreading his brand of political dogma with an attempt of defaming Minister Guy Joseph. When he came out of the project site area, he walked past close to Minister Joseph, and that's when Minister Joseph said to him, "Why are you coming on this project site to spread confusion?" Mr. Henry responded in a confrontational manner, ranting about things that Guy Joseph's people are saying about him and involving his wife in politics. Mr. Guy Joseph responded by saying that people say all kinds of things about me and my wife, and I do not get on like you are getting on. And some back and forth went on between the two, with Minister Joseph remaining cool and calm while Mr. Henry was agitated. On his way out of the area, Mr. Joachim Henry said to me personally, "Tell your pal rep to chill out. I will come on any project site I want, and Guy cannot prevent me from coming on the project site." So to summarize, I am not aware of UWP candidates or politicians going on project sites of the SLP when they're in office. This, in my view, is my view that the SLP should guide and instruct its candidates and MPs to refrain from such activity, as it can lead to unwarranted confrontation and agitation. In my humble view, the incident at the Forestier Church is perhaps episode 2 coming out of the Wavin-Croissant incident. The flammable political rhetoric and tension that has pervaded the political atmosphere is shocking and choking the political air that we breathe, and that is unhealthy. Unfortunately, this kind of political campaign dogma, where certain politicians feel that they can come anywhere government MPs are to confront them, is not healthy for our politics. Certainly, if the political campaign dogma approach is the kind that makes opposition candidates feel comfortable, in control, where they go all the way to figure out, and that there is no need for them, there is clearly need for them to change that brand of verbally charged, volcanic, and toxic politics. This is unhealthy and results in making many minds frozen by dogmatic malware. This unfortunate state of affairs, as we humans can't really afford to be non-adaptive at this point in our history. We are facing dire challenges, and we need our collective intelligence and decision-making to be as sharp as possible. And so now I go to our wonderful guests that we have tonight. And of course, our guest is the Member of Parliament in the upper chamber of the Senate, Senator Angelina Ferrer-Polius, and the UWP candidate for Denery North. Senator Polius, welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you. And I want to say a wonderful good evening to all St. Lucians and the constituents in Denery North. I know that many people have been looking forward to seeing me on Sky FM. They have been asking. So here I am this evening to chat with you.
Okay, it is indeed wonderful to have you, and of course this is your show. This is where you talk to the people and tell us what is happening with you. And of course, I said you wanted to do some prayer.
Yes. So before we start, I just want to take a moment to extend my deepest sympathies to the Edmund and Gustav family of Gadet, including the extensions who reside here as well as overseas. The unfortunate incident of Friday, April 9th, 2021, which resulted in the death of one resident, has thrown the entire community into mourning. It is a very difficult time for the families and all of us in the community. And this is the community of Gadet in Denery North. The Lord reminds us in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14, that if my people that are called by my name humble themselves, pray and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, will forgive their sin, and will heal the land. And I just want to pray for healing, comfort, and forgiveness during this time of sadness. So let us pray. Most magnificent and omnipotent God, we thank you for your gift of forgiveness. We pray that your mercy continues to flood in our hearts and communities, despite our transgressions and failures. We approach your throne of grace, O merciful and compassionate God, seeking your divine intercession for the members of both families and the rest of the community during this time of sorrow. May each family member release the hurt, the pain, and begin to forgive and show kindness to each other. We are all your children, Lord, and your desire is that all of us be saved. Teach the families, Lord, to allow the peace that comes with Jesus, your beloved Son, rule in their hearts. May the confidence of Christ guide them into the freedom of forgiveness so that they can grow closer to you and each other. And this prayer I make through the most awesome name of our Lord Jesus Christ, Redeemer and Healer. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for that, and my sympathies, of course, to the people of Gadet. It's a community I know very well, and of course, I remember Ms. Polius working with you many moons ago when we did the Gadet Water Project and community activities. And so that takes us into our first question to tell us about Ms. Polius, your background, your life's journeys. Share with us.
Okay, so Ricky, you do not need any formal introduction. But for the benefit of our listening and viewing audience, I must say that I have been blessed in many different ways that I have never really imagined. Growing up in an economically disadvantaged family was a challenge, like many persons in the constituency. Both my parents worked on the Denery Farm Company, and their weekly wage was not even enough to provide for the family's needs. And I'm sure many persons can identify with that as well. To supplement this minimal wage, my siblings and I resorted to carrying bananas for farmers in the community on Banana Day. Now mind you, I always look forward to that. Always. Because it was my intention every week to make a few dollars. My mother, being the strong woman that she was then, soon began her own banana farm. And this meant that I did not attend school every day. And perhaps some persons might find it a bit surprising. I did not go to school every day. On harvesting day, some of us, mostly my brothers, were pulled out of school to carry the fruits. And when my last sister came along, my older sister and I took turns to care for her. At that time, the struggles were real and many. But in all of this, I did not allow my family's hardships and limitations to dictate my destiny. So Ricky, can I remove?
Yes,
this?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. This can be a bit stifling, you know. In fact, I defied the odds by using my family's circumstances to propel me to strive for better. I graduated from Castries Comprehensive and got my first teaching job in 1989. At the time, I was in a position to support my family financially. And at the age of 15, and right after I received the sacraments of confirmation, we all know, if you are Catholic,
The blessed
you know
sacrament.
exactly. And once you have received the sacraments of confirmation, you know, our faith tells us that you become a solid, souled, exactly, a
Soldier for
strong
Jesus Christ.
soldier of Jesus Christ. So being this strong soldier of Jesus Christ, I thought it was necessary for me to engage in corporal works of mercy. So I visited the sick, I prayed for them, I assisted with some of their chores. I became a catechist. And I also took my catechumens, or the confirmation candidates, out in the constituency to do the very same. I also provided financial assistance to mostly single parents who needed to procure school implements for their children, or to put some food on the table for their children, or even to put a roof over their heads. So these are the kinds of things that I did, you know, growing up. I enjoyed every bit of it. And from that very moment on in my life, I knew without a doubt, Ricky, that I was called to help others and make life circumstances better for them.
Wonderful.
So beyond the name, Angelina Ferrer, now phonetically it is Angelina.
Okay.
But growing up, I have always been told that it is Angelina. I prefer Angelina. Angelina Ferrer Polius. Ricky, I see myself as a philanthropist. Like many other men and women out there or across the globe who give of their time, their resources, their talent, their knowledge, whatever they have, to improve the well-being of others and to make life better for them. So this is who I am. A young woman, I still consider myself young, right? A young woman who hails from the Denery North soil.
Amazing. Wonderful. Of course. And listeners, you are on to Constituency Vibes. That's your program where we bring you and inform you all to what is happening at the constituency at various levels. And of course, we are tuned into us on 93.1 FM, on GDV TV, and Flow 115 on Facebook as well. So welcome again, those of you who are just joining us, to Constituency Vibes. Share with us a little bit of your journey, your other academic pursuits, your career as well.
I have given more than 30 years of service to the teaching profession. I became a teacher at the age of 18. I taught at the, first of all, Larissus Combined School for 1 year, so that was a short stint for me. And then moved over to the Denery Combined School, where I taught for 16 years.
Wow.
Then I moved to Grand Riviere Secondary. I taught for just 1 year. And in 2007, I was appointed as a teacher trainer at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Division of Teacher Education. So I'm a teacher educator. I'm a teacher by profession. Apart from that, I teach in the master's program with the University of the West Indies Open Campus. specializing in literacy instruction. Okay, so I hold a bachelor's degree in the teaching of language arts with first-class honors. I also possess a master's in new literacies, and I am currently pursuing doctoral studies. I'm on my final lap, and hopefully by the end of the year or early next year, I should be conferred my doctorate in education.
All right. Now, I will give you this joke, especially when you're from Soufrière. You know, we have a PhD joke in Soufrière, so, which you know. So okay. I wish you all the best in your
Thank
studies.
you.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. So you are from Denery, you grew up there, you are from the community. You're now journeying into the politics. What doth brought you, if I could put it like Shakespeare would say, into the politics?
You know, my wealth of experience and my engagement in community development over the years, that has really prepared me for this journey that I am embarking upon today. And I want to give you an example. When I became a member of the St. Lucia Scouts Association or Scout Movement as a Scout leader, and don't ask me why I chose Scouting and not, you know, being part of the Guide Association. But I became a Scout, and I had my own group of boys, my cubs or pack. And when I taught at Denery Combined, I also formed the first Denery Combined School Scout Troop with the assistance of 2 other teachers. So that in itself was by no means an accident, because I was very much involved in the church, and that is where it started for me, being a part of the youth group, then moved on to being the youth leader, a liturgical dancer, being a scout leader, community, president of the Gadgets Community Improvement Group, and doing so many different things in the community. I debated, I represented the Mabuya Valley in 1997 at the National Debating Competition. I played netball for the Mabuya Valley. So I've been very, very much involved in the community. And I believe all of that has actually prepared me for this role that I am embarking upon. I know it's not going to be an easy one. It is not. It is not an easy one. There are challenges, lots of them along the way, but I do not see those challenges as insurmountable. There must be something that can be done to overcome them.
Mm-hmm. Very often in the politics, I mean, somebody like you probably could choose other constituencies or to run. You stayed in Denery North. Why?
I was born and bred in Denery North. I was born and bred in Denery North. I was born in the community of Gadet, but raised in Gadet and Grand Ravine. So I have my father is from Grand Ravine, my grandmother, I have my uncles, aunts in Grand Ravine as well. So I was actually raised between, you know, these 2 communities. And so, if at all I had to represent my people, I would choose Denery North. These are the people that I have been involved with, I have been working with over the years, from the time I was a teenager, and I believe that there is always need for me to give something back to them. So I wouldn't choose anyone else.
You stayed home?
Yes, staying home, definitely.
All right, indeed. Looking at Denery North from the time you have known Denery North to be, what is the current status of Denery North when you look around? Which brings me to the question of what are the things that you want to see different about Denery North, which probably piqued your interest in the politics?
Ricky, I have examined the political landscape in Denery North. Over the years, we've had politicians and, you know, representatives who have played a quintessential role in developing the constituency. There is no one who is perfect. We have our imperfections I too have my imperfections. And so I must applaud all those politicians, representatives we've had before, as well as the current rep, for the role that they have played in the development of the constituency. However, I notice that there is a political divide. And it is this political divide that impedes progress. It prevents us from moving forward. It breeds in the constituency confusion, hostility, neglect, exploitation. And I believe that every effort must be made to bridge that gap. I want to be able to do this because I believe that Denery North deserves better. Denery North deserves a leader who will unite, not divide. We do know that partisan politics, by its very nature, is divisive. But we don't have to divide the people. They are electing us to represent them, to bring them together so that the constituency can go forward and they can be empowered. But the moment a leader who is elected divides, you know what the result is. You know what the outcome is. And we want to bring this element of unity and collaboration, take that back to Denery North so that we can progress.
Share with us some of the ways in which you plan to do so, to bring about that unity, to change that political divide that you speak of.
Ricky, where there is no vision, the people perish. And so we have a vision for Denery North. And that vision speaks to creating, it is in alignment with the vision for the country, building a better St. Lucia. And if we ought to build a better St. Lucia, it has to start on the constituency level.
Constituency by constituency.
Exactly. So the vision is to create a united and progressive Denery North. The vision is one that is inclusive. So we're not leaving out anyone. And it is important that every single individual, regardless of one's age, gender, political affiliation, religious background, you need to be engaged so that we can take Denery North and make it a better place. Take it to a different level and make it a better place.
You speak of a very transformative
Yes.
approach to Denery North.
Yes.
In that regard, transforming lives and impacting people in a meaningful way. Perhaps without letting too much out of the bag, if you could share.
Perhaps not at this time, though.
Share some of the things that some of the areas you see that change can come about.
Okay. The very first one speaks to the most important resource of any country. And for Denery North is by no exception a constituency. The most important resource is the people. And it is important, Ricky, that the people are empowered. The people recognize that they have what it takes to make a difference in their lives. What I have found is that particularly young people, and some may speak about the youth economy, there is a youth economy. We have to empower the youth. We have to provide the youth with the tools that they need to become self-sufficient, not to depend on any leader or to depend on any government. Okay? Once they have the tools, they will be able to fend for themselves. And this is what we want to be able to do. However, in order for them to do that,
they need to have a growth mindset. And so it is important for us to start that way, developing the human resource, getting persons to think differently, change the mindset, because many of them believe that, you know what, I cannot do it. My parents didn't go to school, they didn't go to secondary school, so I will not be able to do it. Or they come from a economically disadvantaged, background or low socioeconomic status circumstance, and I have to continue that way. No. We need to get our people to change their mindsets and to recognize that they are valued. Now, I am a people-centric leader who values and who recognizes that people are important in anything that is done. Without them, what can you achieve?
Absolutely. Nothing.
So the human resource development is the first. Once that is done, there are many other plans that we can embark upon. And so one of those is to implement an empowerment program for adults and youth. We call it an EP.
Interesting acronym.
EP. Yes, interesting. And what is it going to do? It is going to provide and equip young people, the youth and adults, with the skills that they need in order for them to become employable, in order for them to be able to address certain, or to deal with or manage certain issues, or to resolve conflicts. You understand? There are many persons who want to seek employment. They don't even know what they would like to achieve. So that program, which is multifaceted, seeks to empower young people, adults, single parents, right? There are men, we don't want to leave the men behind. I've been hearing too many programs targeting women and girls. What about our men?
It's gender. Gender is about both men and women, indeed.
Yes, but there is so much emphasis on women and girls that we leave out. We tend to leave out. Incidentally, we leave out the men. Okay, so the program seeks to empower single parents as well.
It sounds like there's a lot of capacity building in there. One of the critical things, I think COVID has showed us that people are becoming more self-sufficient. People are using their skills and talents more, and to be more creative. And I think one of the critical areas throughout all communities is that we need to change the mindsets, as you say.
Definitely.
People look at, place low status on certain jobs, like seamstresses, tailors, and those kind of things. And sometimes in a community, as the older folks who are tailors and seamstresses gone, you can hardly find a tailor. And of course, with all the fashion design and all that kind of thing, so I think we can be very, very creative.
So the vocational skills, the training is needed. That is needed.
Very, very critical indeed. Absolutely. Listeners, you're on to Constituency Vibes, and of course, we are on 93.1 FM, on Sky, GDV TV, and Flow 115, and we are on live on Facebook. Interesting enough, our guest tonight is Senator Ferropolius, UWP candidate for Denery North. And of course, Denery North on the East Coast is a beautiful, wonderful community. I've worked there myself for years. I know that constituency and that area. You have the front door, you have a lot of potential, a lot of things that's happening in the valley. And of course, I think it's time, from what I'm sensing from you, to use the resources to be able to tap into that kind of potential for Denery.
So you are right, absolutely correct, because there is need to revolutionize the political landscape in Denery North. I am not able to do it alone, with everyone playing his or her role, and the team, a strong team and structure that we are putting in place. I believe that we can make it happen.
Okay. We're talking about people-focused representation.
That is correct.
Representation.
That is correct.
Empowerment, involving people.
So to carry on with some of the plans, there is one of the plans that we have, and is one that is unprecedented. And I know that the people of Denery North, I have spoken to a few. Just yesterday, we had a meeting with the executive of the Minibus Drivers Association. And, you know, those persons who were present were quite impressed with one of the plans, how we incorporate the minibus drivers in that vision and the plan that we have. No one is being left out. So it is the Constituency Development Fund. And that Constituency Development Fund will be set up to provide financial assistance to parents. There are many parents, you know, who find it a bit challenging to purchase the school implements for their children. They will be able to get some assistance in that regard. There are those who would need assistance to defray the cost of medical expenses, providing subsidies to the bus drivers, omnibus drivers, right, towards their insurance on a yearly basis, scholarships, and even those persons who want to start their own business. So we're not just providing the vocational training or empowering the young people. We want to give them, particularly those who want to start their own business, to give them it. Whether it is the technical support, financial support, we want to encourage entrepreneurship as much as possible. So that fund, that has never happened before in Denery North, this is something that is going to move us in the right direction. And I look forward to it.
Wonderful, wonderful indeed. So exciting things are happening,
yes,
for the people of Denery North. And so Denery North, you have the serious, an important decision to make on that important day when that bell rings, to ensure that Denery North is transformed into, as we work together to build a new St. Lucia in Dale. Let me just digress a bit. You've started in the Senate, and of course you serve as a member of Parliament in the Upper House. How has that experience been for you?
I have learned so much. Spent just 6 months to this date, but it has been about 6 months playing my role as a senator. I did indicate that I was going to serve the people of this country with humility, with passion, okay? And this is what I have been doing. I have been supporting policies that speak to good governance. And I think that I have learned quite a bit from my other Senate colleagues, as well as, you know, the President of the Senate and even the staff of Parliament. It has not always been easy for me. I've had to do my, you know, my planning, and, well, being a debater, you know, I was able to, you know, to go back to all those skills, and even those that I have,
skills of oratory,
I have imparted exactly to my students at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. I had to go back now and say, okay, this is what I said to them, and this is how I helped them build the argument, and so I have to be able to do the same. So it has not been an arduous task for me. I have really enjoyed it. There is much to be learned, but as the process goes by, I guess I will be able to learn quite a bit more. But I love it. I do love it.
Wonderful. Listeners and viewers, you are on to Constituency Vibes with your host Ricky Alexander, or your 93.1 FM, and of course on GDV TV and Flow 115, channel 115, and of course we're live on Facebook. Our guest tonight is the wonderful, passionate, and exciting Ms. Ferrapolius, Senator in the Upper House of Parliament, and of course the UWP candidate for Denery North. Constituency Vibes is your program where we update you, we inform you of what is happening and how the government, through its programs, plans, and policies, is transforming St. Lucia, constituency by constituency. You just have to look around throughout what is happening from Soufrière, Choiseul, Labrie, Vieux-Fort. The south has been impacted all the way around, Grosley in the north, ancillary canneries. Amazing, amazing things are happening all over. And of course, that is your government transforming St. Lucia for you, building a new St. Lucia under the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister, the Honorable Alan Shastry. Saying the politics, Denery North, how has that journey been as a candidate on the ground, interacting with people? I mean, you've always been a community person, but you're now in that new role, in that new capacity, at that level of representation. Tell us about that.
Now, this is second nature to me. I mean, politics is new to me, right? I have always been on the outside looking in. But now I'm actually in the belly of the beast or the whale. And so I have to ask myself. Exactly. And I have to ensure that, you know, whatever I do, it is strategic, it's methodical, because I want people and I want the constituents to support me because they want to support me, not because they are forced or they feel pressured to support me. And the way I interact with the people, the way I interact with persons in their families, so it's not just persons who are eligible to vote that I'm going to be interacting with. What about the young children? Because soon they will be of age to vote. And do we just focus on persons who are of the age to vote? It is important that a leader shows that there is interest in the well-being of the entire family and not just persons who are going to be voting for you. Okay? So it is important for me as the leader to be interacting. I enjoy what I do with those persons out there. And there are those who say to me, you know, Farah, may say Farah, ubin tuotai. And then I say to them, no. I came in at the right time. Everything happens at the right time. And the many elderly persons who tell me that they continue to pray for me, they love what I'm doing, the way I'm interacting with them, I'm going all out, you know, trying to get those persons who do not have a voice. They've been neglected for a good while. I reach out to them. And let me say to you, Ricky, and I'm hoping that our listening audience can hear that as well. I believe that every single person, every single constituent should be included in that entire vision, that holistic vision. And this is what we've been doing. Regardless of who you are, regardless of, you know, your political affiliation or your parents' political background, you must be included. And so, as a leader, I continue to interact with people on a daily basis. Those who are supporting the United Workers' Party, those who have been disgruntled, those who have been, you know, they are disenchanted, they feel that they have been neglected for a while, and I do understand. I do understand. Okay? As well as those who have been supporting the St. Lucia Labour Party. Because when I look at a constituent, Ricky, I don't see red, I don't see yellow. I see people who genuinely belong to a family and who have needs. I see people who need someone to represent them. And that is why the vision speaks to unity, all in an effort to bridge that political divide so that we can progress.
The way you put it, I want to sum it this way. You've just articulated the Polius doctrine.
Ah, the Polius doctrine.
Which is philosophically out of the philosophy of the United Workers' Party, to fight
Yes.
the wrong that needs resistance and to help the cause that needs assistance.
Absolutely. 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 And this, I allow this to be my mantra every single day. And I say to myself that, you know, and it is something that I pray about all the time. The Lord has blessed me in many ways. So the person that I am today is not my own, it's not my own doing. There are many people who have sacrificed their time, their resources to help me become who I am today. So my success is attributed to the sacrifices of many. And so if the Lord has blessed me, someone who came from humble beginnings, I ask him to use me to be a blessing to others.
As I mean, from my recollection,
Yep.
you were the first female candidate?
First female. That is historic.
Historic.
Yes.
And you know, all the men
First
going before
female.
you. As you go on the ground, how is that? Because that's new, that's unique, that's something that's not happening in a long time to have a female. How is that reaction? How is the vibes in the constituency vibes?
Now, Ricky, you know, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, you know. I love it when other people blow it for me. You understand? But based on, I can tell you, just briefly, based on the feedback on the ground, it is encouraging. It is encouraging. There are many people, you know, party supporters who, you know, over the years, they believe that they have not received the attention, or they have not received the support that they've been looking for. I try my very best to assist. However, it is important, and I must place it on record, that more resources are needed in order to be able to impact lives in a more positive way in Denery North. And I have been asking, and I know that hopefully some resources will come along, so that we can continue to make that change. You know, when I was interviewed, that is just prior to the runoff, I was asked the question, you know, what are some of the projects that you would want to prioritize? And you know what my first project was? The Lapel Road. And you know the question that I was asked? Miss Polius, how many people live in Lapel? And I said, listen, the number does not matter. Everybody in Lapel is just as important as those in Denery, Oleon, Gadet, Richford, and its environs, right? And so the people in Lapel have been neglected for too long. Promises have been made, and they have not been fulfilled. And I felt it was necessary for the people in Lapel to receive that road. So Liberation Day is near. It is near. And I know that come Election Day, people will turn out and speak loudly.
And we have some of those pictures of the Lapel Road, so I know that will be coming up, so viewers can see what is happening
hopefully.
in the constituency as well. And of course, Lapel is a very important link road, takes you all the way back to, and especially when we talk about infrastructure, and particularly in the time of COVID, while on the other side, you hear a lot of negative about infrastructure. The development experts, the economists, the World Bank, all of this is saying, this is the right time to build your infrastructure, and that we need the infrastructure. I mean, the infrastructure is going to last for a long time, and particularly infrastructure is now COVID resilient, climate resilient, all that kind of stuff. So you build in stronger infrastructure for its important use. I know Lapel, there are farmers, and tell us about the farming community and the impact of agriculture in that community.
Well, I understand that the farmers are having a bit of a challenge. We know with the banana industry, you know, the woes of those farmers, how they have lamented some of the challenges that they've been enduring for a while. And much needs to be done. Denery North is in an agricultural basin, and as a farmer myself, I'm a farmer, you know. Not a full-time farmer. Not a full-time farmer. But I understand their concerns. There is need for us and for this government to invest a lot more in farming. I have already compiled a list with those persons who are growing vegetables and, you know, those short-term crops, because that's what I really specialize in as well. Cultivate. And I will be upgrading that list. I'm meeting with them very soon so they can, you know, they get an opportunity to express their concerns, you know, say what their needs are, articulate, you know, those challenges that they have, and then we will be able to strategize. Okay, take it from there. And so in areas where the farmers have complained about the feeder roads, for example, there are some feeder roads that definitely need attention. So Tuafwe, Compare, there is Bafloan in Oleon, there is Tonnes. Well, Tonnes has received some attention. Some time ago, I had a meeting with some persons from Tamazo, and one of the main concerns was that, you know, they needed some relief in Tonnes. So we went there the following week, and we were able to get the work done. So they are quite relieved. But there is much more that needs to be done to help those farmers so that they don't just, you know, cultivate their crops and harvest, but we want to ensure that when they are transporting their goods to the buyer, right, that those goods remain of good quality. So the roads must be improved.
Oh, and that's important for what we call the post-harvest technology. Important, particularly after harvest, it's important to ensure that the produce gets to the market in very good condition as well. Listeners and viewers, you are on to Constituency Vibes with my guest tonight, Senator Ferropolius, UDLP candidate for Denery North. You're on Sky FM 93.1 FM, and of course we are on GDV TV and on Flow channel 115, and of course a lot of Ms. Polius will be telling us about some of the things that are happening in Denery North, as you can see, so you can speak to some of those things that are happening in Denery North.
This government has done quite a bit in Denery North. So apart from the Lapel Road that I mentioned earlier, there are quite a few infrastructural projects that have been undertaken. Oh, that's my little girl there. That's the graduation. So we have had quite a few footpaths. Oh, well, in the family literacy program. Oh, that's a long time ago. That's a long time ago when I was selected to represent primary school teachers from the English-speaking Caribbean at the launch of the Caribbean Center of Excellence for Teacher Training in Jamaica. So that's a while back. that's a while back. Yes, so some footpaths have been constructed in Gadet, Oleon, Richfond. We've had construction of a crossover bridge in Dibonnet, Grand Riviere, a retaining wall in Montparnasse in Grand Riviere. And this one was important because there was a utility pole. Had we not done this, this utility pole would have caused a lot more damage. not just to the houses in the neighborhood, but there was a building that was right next to it. Okay, so you know we don't take chances with electricity, right? There are some other projects that have been undertaken, and I must tell you, Ricky, and I must share that with our audience, and it is critical. There are many constituents who want to do for themselves, while there are those who will be asking for a contract and, you know, give me a contract here and one there. There are those who want to do for themselves. And so they may say, if you give me the material, or sir, if you give me the materials, we will do it. We went to Alemon in Grand Riviere. And this road, part of the road, had been well paved, and the other part, which is the incline, the hilly part, was not motorable. Okay? And the residents complained quite a bit about that. And so there was need for intervention. I went to a meeting. I was called to a meeting. We had a meeting. A few of the guys, those who seemed quite influential in the area, we had the meeting right there on the road. And some did not believe that I was serious. So we had the meeting on one Saturday. The following Saturday, the work started. And some were like, Miss Polius, you fooled me, you know. I really didn't believe that you were going to act so swiftly. And I said, listen, you have shown me what I am accustomed to. Because in Gadet, growing up, being part of the development group, we did a lot of self-help projects. And so I must continue to applaud the people in Alemon in Grand Riviere, like Vex and Old Test and Japas and Johnson and all the others, and all the ladies who cooked, because the men worked, the ladies cooked. And that was remarkable. They have shown me that they don't depend solely on government. They are ready to do for themselves. And we need to encourage that kind. We need to encourage that kind of collaboration.
Absolutely. That's people empowerment.
Definitely. Exactly.
So we
Exactly.
need to continue to empower people. And as you say, people really want to assist and to make a contribution as well. And then we need to match that contribution so that we empower people. And of course, community development is not just about, as we say, a handout. The philosophy of the United Workers' Party is to teach people how to fish.
Exactly.
And not just give them a fish. And of course, so together, we learn to build communities, we learn to build relationships, we learn to empower and grow, and of course, develop the capacity of our people. Listeners, viewers, you are on to Constituency Vibes, and we'll be opening our lines very, very shortly. And of course, we want to remind you of our clear rules and guidelines. We want you to make your contribution, we want you to participate, but we want to ensure you do so in a timely manner. So you're on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 FM. We are on GDV TV, Flow Channel 115. And of course, my guest tonight with us is Senator Ferrapolius from Denery, from
Denery North.
Denery North, from the Gadet community, where she grew up and raised. And of course, she is the EWP candidate for Denery North. And of course, as she says, it's the right time, it's the right place, the right moment. So all you have to do is the right thing.
That is correct.
To ensure that
right.
We bring Denery North home,
Yes.
and we continue to transform the community of Denery North. And so you were saying to some of the activities and things that you wanted to.
Right. I just want to go back to one of the achievements. In terms of youth employment, we know that this is one of the critical areas that many persons have expressed a concern about. I want a job, I cannot find a job. And the establishment of Audio Labs, and I tell Bibo, let me tell you, this has played a tremendous role in reducing unemployment in Denery North for the young people. Now, some were able to secure a job on their own, but there are many young people who wanted the job at the call center, but did not or were not meeting the requirements. And you know what I did? You remember clearly that meeting, you attended that meeting in Oleon.
Yes.
Right, and this young lady, exactly.
Yes, yes.
And this young lady asked the question. And when she messaged me and told me that, you know, she was not employed and she was looking for a job and so on, and I told her exactly what to do. I asked her to send me her video, and I had to look at it and, you know, listen to the video. Listen to her read the script, you know, and to give her some feedback. And she had to do it several times before I gave her the approval, and then she submitted. And in preparation for the interview, we had a mock interview. So I was basically equipping her with the tools that she needed to secure that job. And lo and behold, she was one of those who secured that job. That was excellent. Now, in addition to that, I facilitated. Well, I was not the main facilitator. There were two other persons who came in to facilitate the sessions, but I made arrangements for training sessions to be held for the young people who were interested in working at the call center. Some of them were successful, some unsuccessful. Now, those who were unsuccessful, I've not given up on them, and I've told them that I will return to them. They were not able to secure a place. It does not mean that they are not worthy or they do not have what it takes. Okay? And those persons who were successful, they went through the rigor. They went through the rigor because they had to send me this video again so many times, and they had to do this. I had to let them know that, okay, you were reading this a bit too quickly, you need to pronounce the words properly and so on. And it was a bit cumbersome for some of them, but the reward, the outcome was encouraging. So we were able to secure jobs for some of those young people through these 2 training sessions that we had in Denery North. So that is the kind of empowerment that we are talking about. And teaching them how to fish rather than giving them a fish.
Absolutely.
Every day.
That's the essence of Empower. Listeners, viewers, you're on to Constituency Vibes. Your host, Ricky Alexander, and our special guests. All our guests are special, of course, but we have a lady in the house. She is historically, you know, one of the only female who has threw her hat in the ring in the political arena in Denery North. So that is historic. And of course, I think, whether it's the United Nations, I think there is an important role of women in Parliament. And of course, it is indeed amazing to see that you know, a woman like you want to take that level of representation of your constituency. We're now opening our lines, 456-0931. Yes. And so you can call in, and of course to share your views and sentiments with our guests. And our lines are open already. Good night, welcome caller.
Yeah, big one, welcome.
But I can hear.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
You're on to Constituency Vibes?
Yeah, respect to you. I heard Ms. Polius say about contracts and stuff like that. I don't really know who she is. I'm not into any political thing. I like the present government they have there still, you know. I think they should remain still, you know. But I heard she saying about, you know, like people asking for contracts and stuff and them kind of thing there, you know. What I want to know is it wrong for a man to ask for a job and be paid for it? because a contract is a job you're asking to be paid for. If you see there's something amiss in your community and you want to get it done and you think you'll make some money, I know some people play around with this thing, but she sounded like, asking for a contract is something that's wrong, and she just sounds like a regular politician to me. She sounds like some politician
that's not what she said.
Just using, calm down. She's just using, good words to try and play with the people's minds.
Let me give
but
her a
as
chance
I said,
for her
I'm not into the thing, and I like the present government and everything. But why asking for a contract and getting paid for it is something amiss? Why can't somebody say, well, yeah, give me a contract? If you did in a systematic, proper way, I can't see a problem with that. You did the proper way,
Permit me to just interject, caller, and say that this is not what she was saying, and let me give her a chance to respond to you.
Okay, no problem.
All right?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. And I think you have misinterpreted what I said. I was basically talking about or juxtaposing the fact that some persons want to do something for themselves. There is a drain that needs to be done near their home, or the road needs to be repaired. So rather than waiting for the rep, or rather than waiting for any government official to come in and issue a contract, they simply ask for the materials in order to undertake the project. So I'm not saying, of course, who would not be happy to receive a contract in order to get some funding that you would need to undertake something important in your family, to pay for your medical bills. In other words, to undertake some financial commitment that you may have. And so the point that I was trying to make here is, it's not that I am looking down upon persons who are asking for contracts, but I just wanted to make the comparison and show that there are those who ask for a contract, and there are those who tell you, because I have encountered a few persons who tell me that, this drain needs to be done, and if you are not going to give me a contract for it, I will not do it. And it is right under the nose, right behind the house. It needs to be cleaned, and they will not do it unless they get a contract. So I'm saying that there are people who just want to be able to do for themselves, and we want to encourage that as well.
All right, caller, so that is what we are talking about, empowering people, motivating them, giving them the means and assistance so that they could do for themselves, basically teaching them how to fish. Listeners and viewers, you're on to Constituency Vibes. Our lines are open, 456-0931, and of course, feel free to call in. Hello, good night, welcome caller, welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Good night, sir, and good night, Ms. Polio.
Good night.
Good evening.
There's a saying behind every strong man or every working man, there's a supportive and a driving woman. And with your government, with your Prime Minister, I'm looking forward. I know, I'm not saying I hope you will, but I know you will be there. But I'm looking forward to having you, Gail, Mrs. Rigobert, Ms. Rigobert, the one in Masha, and the one in Central, to back up and to support our Prime Minister with the ladies there, and we have the women, and we have the other men there in the background. I know we will have a very good government. So I know you will be part of our government, because you're on the way for that, to do that. And so I'm wishing you all the success in your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you, caller, for the compliment.
And again, of course, that's what we're talking about. I see the people are rallying and are supporting and are there with you to see you cross that hurdle and, of course, be one of the first female parliamentary representatives for Denery North. Of course, this is your program, Constituency Vibes. We are on 456-0931. We are on 93.1 FM, on GDV TV, and Flow 115, and on Facebook Live as well. So, of course, make your contribution in that regard. And of course, Ms. Polius, whilst we're here, you're not running as an independent, you are running as a member of the United Workers' Party.
That is correct.
Your experience, what that is, but let's take that call. Welcome, caller, good night. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Yes?
Go ahead, caller, make your contribution.
Yes? Yes?
We can hear you, go ahead, caller.
I want to see history in Olio. I want to see a woman in Olio, and it will happen. We want history. We want history in Olio. We want to see a woman in Olio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Caller ended, so yeah, the support is
they're excited.
They're excited. The momentum is definitely building up. So as your experience as part of a member of the team UWP, how has that been?
I have been welcomed to the family. I must admit that a call is coming in.
All right. Welcome, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Yes, sir. I want to make a contribution.
Go right ahead, sir.
Yes.
We're listening to you. Go ahead, caller.
All right. Yes. Good night.
Good night.
I'm listening to the program and based on what she's saying, you know, I'm quite satisfied with what she has showed, the project she has taken up. Because what I really cannot understand with representations from politicians is that here we had Sean Edward in the place, and there are projects that where you find he will start and then he will skip, go to a next place. You understand? As if he's not representing all of the people. As if the way some of these guys behave, as if they only want to represent people that supported them. But they need to understand that.
Caller, which area is he talking about, caller?
Say that again?
Which area are you talking about?
I mean, I'm talking about Denery.
Okay.
Denery, because the lady spoke about a road in Lapel. Denery, Lapel, the road at Lapel, the project she spoke about in Lapel.
Go ahead, caller.
That road was really, really, really bad, even before they thought of selecting her. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yes, even before they think of selecting her, that road was really bad, and Mr. Sean Edwards was in power. His government was in power, and he did not see the need to release the people that is living inside there. And the lady, a few months, I'm not sure how long she's there, but you could see people that really wants to develop and make things better for people. It's not about coming in the politic arena and just want to use people and keep people oppressed all the time. And you understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you, caller.
I like her vibe. I just hope and pray that she continues to look after people, even if there is a little community or area she didn't get vote there. But I mean, that is human beings. That is human beings. Forget about the separation and the division, but look after the development of people. I'm wishing you all the best. I'm praying for you, and you will get the support you need. Just keep on looking after people, look after the development, speak to them, and you will get the support you need. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you very much, caller. And I just want to reiterate something that you said there that is in alignment with our vision. We must bring people together. It is not just about who supports you, who doesn't support you. We are all from the same constituency. We are from the same constituency, and we need to be able to meet the needs of as many people as possible. So it is in alignment with our vision, and that is why I said before that we are creating a united and progressive Denery North. So thank you for your support and your prayers. Continue to pray for me, because we need to be delivered. We need to be liberated.
Good night. Welcome, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Hi, good evening, Ricky. Good evening, Ms. Polio.
Good evening.
I'd just like to say that I am very impressed with the plans laid out thus far, specifically the youth development, the people development aspect of it. Because so many times we have had representatives in Denery North who believe that development is concrete and still, and we forget about the people. And then we create that dependency syndrome where individuals depend on representatives or depend on government. So I am very impressed with Ms. Polius and the plan. I know that she is a focused person, a focused leader. I know of her development. I have worked with her in community development when I was a younger person, and I have the faith that come 2021, we will get all the therapy that we need. And I want to wish you the best, Ms. Polius. I know that once you have been given the chance and the opportunity, Denery North will become the envy of all the community. And I know that people will appreciate the personal development, the personal intervention that you will bring to Denery North. All the best, and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, caller.
Well said, caller. Thank you so much.
I heard the therapy. Tell us about the therapy.
I think she actually preempted. Yes, so with all the exploitation, the neglect, discrimination,
kindly hold the line, caller,
that our constituents have endured. And just one of those that the gentleman, the caller earlier, alluded to when he said that sometimes a project starts in one area, and because there are supporters of that parliamentary rep, the project starts there, and it does not continue higher up or lower down because there are supporters of the other party. And so this is something that we need to be able to, eliminate completely, because there is need for us to ensure that we serve the needs of all. That inclusivity element of the vision is what is going to get us where we want to go.
And I think the people of Mount Austin are listening very, very
yes. Oh, yes.
Welcome, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes. Thanks for holding.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to Ms. Polius.
Good evening to you, caller.
Okay. One thing welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Good to have you. You spoke about the Lapel, the road around by going towards the cemetery, that other side. And I remember sometime, either earlier this year or late last year, but there was that thing which fell across the road in Lakai, and so vehicles had to divert and pass that area. And the road was in a deplorable state. So I am so happy that, that piece of road. It's true there are not a lot of people living there, but then I think, you should not, like you said, we should not consider, it's just a handful of people. There are people living in the community, and they need proper road to get to their homes. And that road can also serve as a bypass, if in case there is something happen
very important,
on the main road.
Very important caller.
So that should be, I applaud you for fixing that piece of road.
Okay.
Also, you see sometimes in community, like you said, some people would because the constituency, they know, well, that family or that group of people, they don't vote for them, they skip. I don't want that to ever be something that the United Workers' Party adopt. You know, if you building a road, I see in Mikud North, they build concrete roads. And you know, I am so proud of that because they put a piece of road by my home, so I'm very happy. But they did not choose a group and say, okay, this group is United Workers' Party and this group. And they completed the whole piece of road. They didn't put part and stop.
Excellent.
I think when projects like that are being done, the whole thing has to be done. I look at the Grand Riviere and going up that hill, I forget the name of that area, but they stopped the road halfway. And the part of the
That's
road
Alemon in Grand Riviere.
Okay, and I think that piece of road needs to be completed because there are so many people living higher
And
up.
it will be done.
So
Under
UWP
administration, it will be done.
Okay, I really want that. And if you do one at a time. If you can handle one at a time, you do one at a time. So, and then when one project is completed, you move to the next project. But
Absolutely.
you know, I am happy that, you know, finally, whether there was a United Workers' Party candidate before or a Labour Party candidate, but I think I have so much confidence in you that you are going to really make a difference in the valley. So welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your support.
Thank you very much, caller. All right, so that's the kind of inclusive development and people-centered.
Yes, and I'm happy that there are many constituents
Hold the
who
line, caller,
buy
please.
the idea and who agree with this philosophy that I have and the vision that we have for Denery North.
Welcome, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes. Caller, are you there? Welcome. Good night.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, go ahead, make your contribution.
Yes, Miss Polly, I'm happy to have somebody like you on board.
Thank you, Miss.
I appreciate everything you talk about. And I always say we need more young people and ladies in politics to change everything, Miss Polly.
So are you going to be working with me hand in hand? We need to work together, you know, to move mountains.
Yes, I'm happy to have you there. I'm happy to have you there. And
Excellent.
I hope the people in Gadet, Olio, Denery Riviere surrounding, I'm from Lakai.
Okay,
Support
okay.
you 100%.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, caller. And of course, the people are excited. A lot of things are happening. And of course, you're on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 FM, Sky FM, and we're on GDV TV, on the Flow 115, and on Facebook Live. Welcome, caller. Good night. Welcome to Constituency Vibes. Hello, welcome, caller. Turn down the volume of your radio.
Yes, good evening, sir, and good night to your guest.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
I can say truly that I'm very impressed with your guest, and then I noticed that she have a lot to offer. I like to see fresh faces. I mean, in the political arena. So I like to welcome her to the party, and then I'm very impressed with her, and then I really admire the plan she have for her constituency. So I wish her good luck in there. So have a good evening. So all the best. I'm listening to your program.
I received that. Thank you very much, caller.
Yes.
You see?
Go ahead.
We need, you know, and this is the party to which we belong, the working party. We have a cadre of women. We can't work in isolation. We cannot. We work as a team. And when we plan, we strategize, we are able to deliver our mandate. And this is what St. Lucians deserve.
Hold the line, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes, caller.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, so far I'm so happy to hear the different plans UWP putting in place for when they win the next election. I feel we will see a brand new St. Lucia.
And a brand new Maria Valley too.
Pardon?
And
a brand new Denery North.
Denery North too as well.
Right. A brand new St. Lucia. Because what happened, I think, people now are learning a little more about politics. And as we can see, one side is more bending on dividing the nations, and the other side is trying to bind everybody together. And I think most people will follow the UWP because of the ideas and the way they're looking at everything that's happening around them. Now, I remember every time SLP lose an election, they always say, we're taking back our country. So I hope when they lose this time, they will find something better to say. Right? Because right now, people are fed up with the kind of attitude they portraying around right now. Right? So I'm hoping when the day of election come up, every St. Lucian who's supporting the United Workers' Party will go out and go and cast their vote so we can have a peaceful St. Lucia for a long time to come. Thank you very much, and good night.
Well said.
Thank you very much, caller. Well said indeed. Of course. We're looking forward to
and Hela is the name for the party, United Workers' Party. It is really about bringing people together, because a country that is divided or a constituency that is divided cannot progress. You cannot move forward. And so it is important for us, and even in Denery North, as I said, to transform that political landscape, to put an end to that division. Because what we realized is that there is hostility, enmity among persons, even family members, who are affiliated to different parties. It does not have to be that way. It doesn't. And so while we may be supporting different parties, we have to put that aside at some point, and we work for the common good of the constituency. And so Denery North needs the therapy that the caller mentioned earlier. Therapy, the liberation.
Welcome, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
I'm calling from the constituency of Denery North. I'd like to commend Ms. Foley for an excellent piece tonight.
Thank you.
She has touched everybody in the constituency in these various facets, be it adult literacy, be it school, be it extracurricular activities, be it the church, sometimes the farming. I believe that is the one that is going to create history in Denery North, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and like everybody else, to come on board. Denery Riviere got it. Larisha Folio Grand Riviere.
Thank you, caller. But you speak like someone who participated in that family literacy program that I implemented in 2008, 2009.
Oh, no.
Oh, you were not one of those?
No.
But that was my way of giving back to the parents.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think a lot of parents benefited from that because, we have a very illiterate population. Sometimes you find parents were not able to assist their students with their assignments because they didn't have that basic reading and writing skill. Mm-hmm. And then you brought that in, and then parents began to feel more empowered and involved in the students' life. So with you coming on board, I think the empowerment in the valley will be at another level.
So if you were not part of that program, how do you know so much about it?
I'm from the area.
Okay, all right.
You taught me, you taught my brothers.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
That says it all.
Yes.
But thank you very much. We do need that kind of support. We need people to work together. We need people to think differently, think beyond politics, because we need to be able to make progress and get Denery North out of this mess that it is in.
Definitely. Once you empower yourself, then you start empowering persons. They'll change their minds and they'll think more of themselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes. So
Thank you
have a good
immensely.
night and all the best.
Good
And
evening to you as well.
achieve
Thank you very
therapy
much.
for Denery North.
Therapy for Denery North. That's it.
Tell us about this therapy for Denery North that I'm hearing.
Ricky, you know...
Let's take that. Welcome, caller.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Podium.
Good evening.
Yes. I would like to tell you, sometimes we don't like to criticize them too much, but at the same time, I'm just about to tell you that there is no way you can win a seat in the valley, so you're wasting your time.
I am. That's what you think. Okay, so this is your opinion. It is your opinion, and I do appreciate your opinion, but...
And you're not a people person. So how can you run for election? Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Thank you, dear, for that comment.
Of course, we understand those calls will come in
That
as
will
well.
come.
And all right. We on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 FM. Welcome, caller. Good night.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Ricky.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Madame Ferrapolios.
Bonsoir, Mr. Ring the Bell.
Eh bien, mon cadeau, moi, bienvenue sur Sky FM. Et puis,
merci.
Moi, en chai confiance en didon. Et puis, Léo, Captain, Moun Kakrio, Kavindou, ça yo ka dit, ça c'est opinion yo. Pas quitter ça mais nous descend, parce que les en moun hot, yo ka dit n'importe parole. Parce que parole là, moi, je veux dire ça, pour maman Denery North, et surtout, jeunesse Denery North. Nous, yon ka représenter maman Denery North. Là, il était un gouvernement. Il allait prendre l'argent, il a fait yon fil à sous, il fait yon bafoum à sous fil Marigoa, $650,000. Ça fait $650,000. Et puis, nous, yon cote à Denery North. Quantité jeunesse, nous n'y a Denery North, richement qu'à jouer netball. Et puis, pas même lever Fidjay Côte là-bas, c'est jeunesse là Denery North. Alors, moi, je demande Madame Ferrapolios, qui peut unir ces jeunesse là qui a joué netball en Denery North?
Ok, merci, Shane.
Oui.
Okay. Merci, Apil.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't really want to go too deep into this particular one, but what I know for a fact is that we are going to upgrade the existing facility, sporting facility in Denery North. If you remember, or I'm sure many persons are of the view that sports in Denery North is synonymous with football. Football is not the only sporting, discipline. There are many others. So we want to be able to revamp. I played netball for the Mabuya Valley, okay, a long time ago. I played netball for every secondary school that I attended, even the St. Arthur Louis Community College. I played netball. We want to revamp the sporting disciplines, bring back netball, bring back tennis, bring back volleyball, and even swimming. I don't even want to go in, as I said, I don't want to go into the big plan that we have. We are going to reveal it at the right time. But there are quite a few sporting disciplines we want to bring back in Denery North to get our young people engaged.
Good night, caller. Welcome.
Good night, Ricky Alexander, my brother. How you doing?
I am good. How are you? Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
I'm good. Thank you, sir. Very good. Good night, Miss, the next parliamentary representative for Denery North.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
This is Ian Corjan. I'm listening to you all the way from Delaware, USA.
Oh, nice to have you. Nice to have you,
yes,
Ian.
Yes.
Let me just start by saying, when you're electing a candidate or a parliamentary rep, that person, he or she, must bring something
Hold
to
the
the
call.
table.
Hold the line,
Must
caller.
have must have a vision
Mm-hmm.
as to where they want to see the constituency in the next 5, 10, and 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And your constituents must buy into your vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say, when I listen to you, you have a vision. Juxtapose that to your opponent, Sean Edward. I haven't heard Sean said one thing he can do to advance the constituency. Ring the bell call, and he brought up an issue with regards to sporting facilities. Denery North has been neglected under Sean Edward for the last 2 terms. It's time that we see a change in Denery North. I'm appealing to the young people in Denery North. This UWP government has created opportunities for you. When we have now the Ojo Labs and the IPGP, the Ojo Labs, the various call centers that this UWP government has set up that created employment, and I'm sure a number of young people in the Denery North constituency benefited from that.
Excellent. You are absolutely right about that.
But when you have a leader of the opposition, which is Sean Edwards' leader, saying in Parliament that the Labour Party, if they win the next state elections, they will close down Ojo Labs. That is a frightening thing. So I'm appealing to the young people in the Denery North constituency. You have a candidate in Farah Polius with a vision. She's a worker. She knows what she wants to do for you. She's been with you. She's a community person. She's a community worker. I'm appealing to all young people. Go out when the day is called, when the election is called, and give Ms. Farah Polius your vote. Vote the UWP, because it's the only party that has a vision, that knows what it is to take this country, because we say we're building a new St. Lucia, and when you look at all over the country, you see projects, not just infrastructure projects, human resource projects likewise. Mm-hmm. This is the only party, the UWP, that has a vision for St. Lucia. So Ms. Polius, don't be deterred. You're on the right track. Keep your foot on the ground. Mobilize your people. Ensure that when election day comes, you get all your people to go out and vote. And you're on the right track, and sell your vision for the constituency. And I'm telling you, I'm predicting, come the next general elections, you will be the next parliamentary rep for Denery North. Ricky Alexander, my brother, good show, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, my brother, and all the best to you as well.
Thank you.
Caller, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, all right.
Well
we'll
said.
talk to you soon. All right. All right. You're on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 FM. And of course, we're on Sky. Hello, welcome, caller. Good night.
Good night to you. And good night to your guests.
Good night.
Good night to you.
Miss Polius, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, I do not know if I know you, because I'm not calling from your constituency. I'm already calling it your constituency.
Okay.
But when I heard you,
Mm-hmm.
and the way you describe yourself, from the time you were very young, you always liked to help people, doing this and doing that, passing in the
That's
community.
me. Hmm.
And you grow up that way. In other words, it is second nature to you.
That is correct.
And when I heard this person said a while ago that you're not a people's person, I was surprised to hear that. Though I do not know you, I'm calling from Babono.
Okay.
Some time ago, I was in Larissus Church, and I conducted a women's retreat there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard you talk a while ago, you covered everything holistically. You came in with being a catechist. You come in with your being a church person, you're doing this, and I think this is what we need. And the fact that you don't just come into the fray because you want to represent the people, but you have
been with the people, you have been working with the people. You don't just jump in because you want to represent. So I am wishing
Absolutely.
you the best.
Absolutely. And so you were absolutely right, because the caller who said that I am not a people's person perhaps did not have anything positive to say and had to find a way, to make it look like she was really on the other side. It is okay to be part of any political party, but we need to be a little more objective. And that is what I have been encouraging and advocating. We need to be objective. If something or someone, whether you are supporting the person or not, that person is making a valid contribution, we need to give some credit to that. And so there are some persons who are not, too keen on giving credit or, recognizing the good in somebody, even if they may not like the best bone in that individual. So the caller who made that statement obviously just wanted to be who she is. Okay, so but I thank you very much for
and again, when
comment.
you spoke about bringing the people together, because the way we look at things now, with the politics of Santosha, there is so much division.
Yes.
There is so much hatred. There is so much bitterness, resentment, and all these things, according to even within family itself. And so it is not easy to bring people together. But when you come with the plans that you have and the way you approach it, and one of the best things that you can do is to try to bring the people together. And of course, division is not of God. We know that. And if we try to bring people together, it means you are on the right path.
Thank you very much, caller.
So have a blessed evening.
Much appreciated.
Good.
Welcome, caller. Good night.
Hello?
Hello, good night. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good night. You're on to Constituency Vibes.
Good evening, caller.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, good evening. Yes, I'm hearing a lot of squeaking on background.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Okay, I am calling for the first time, okay? Hello?
Hello, go ahead. We're listening to you, caller.
Yes, okay. And Madam from Denery, you're doing a very good job, okay?
Thank you, caller.
Okay, so I want to make a statement.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have some difficulty with Central Labour Party. I remember that Kenny went to the market steps and said that he will tell investors not to come and invest. Yeah, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead. Make your point as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So you're going to tell investors not to come and invest. Number two, I heard Kenny say that why didn't you rebuke, all right, for truth? When he has made statements, if Chastity is afraid of Joseph, you know. And then I remember Kenny is saying, taking out sand from the river to give you when they know the river to give the brand new police station that is compromised. The police is going down to drugs. The whole police station in View. And we have road milk.
Fluid is disjointed.
Caller, thank you very much.
We
We can't hear you clearly. You're breaking up, but we thank you for your contribution. Okay, caller? Thank you very much. Hello, good night, caller.
Yes, hello, good evening, Ricky.
Good evening, welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Good. Good evening, Ms. Polius.
Good evening to you.
You should know who's talking there. This is Kurt from Gadet.
Kurt.
Yes. How are you doing?
Wonderful. And thank you for calling.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure. I have a few questions for you, just so you know. It feels good to be on the other side. Normally, you'd be the teacher in the school asking all the questions, so it's nice to be asking you a few questions.
Right. So you are no longer in the classroom. Okay. I hope you're going to be here to vote. You know.
I'll do my best.
Okay. Go ahead.
So there's a few things. I mean, just before I give you that question, I should say I know you are a hard-working individual. You're a very motivational person, and a lot of people should really look up to you, especially in our community. You know, and I mean, throughout the constituency, I've known you all my life. It's not like you are a stranger to me.
Right.
And I love the work that you're doing. You know, but I still feel I have a few questions for you.
Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Make
Yes,
it
number one.
as quickly as possible.
What would be your main focus if you were to win the current election? And also, what would be your plan in developing the youth, especially in your constituency, knowing the growing problem, especially with young males? I must specify, young males.
Okay, that's it, caller?
Yes.
Okay, all right. This will respond.
Yes. So thank you for asking these two questions, Kurt. And I'm not sure if you were listening. If you tuned in much earlier, you would have heard some of the plans that we have to empower young people in Denery North. First of all, the individual, the people, the most important resource of Denery North must be developed. The people. And we need to get people to change their mindset. Some of them have that fixed mindset that, you know, they are not going to grow. They will not make progress. Nothing will change. Their situation will always remain. So we need to get them to change from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset. That, you know what, I have the ability, I have the potential, and I'm going to capitalize on opportunities available. I'm going to use resources at my disposal to make a difference in my life. So unless people have changed their mindset, the way they think, because you know the way you think influences how you feel and also how you behave. Okay? So once they believe that they can make a difference in their lives, then we are going to take them to the next level where they are going to be empowered. Empowered in, you know, skills training to help them become self-sufficient, to help them with their own businesses, to help them, you know, secure jobs. You know, that is the kind of empowerment that we are looking for our young people. And that is going to be critical.
True. Now, my second question, like I asked you, I would love to know what would be that, especially our young men. And I don't have to go into details because you know exactly where I'm going with that. Our young men in our communities, just in your constituency, I'm not looking at the countrywide, you know, just what you observed and what you know for a fact. what are you planning on doing in terms of these young men and how to actually motivate them into going into certain industries or certain how do you say that, like trades and
Okay.
so on and so forth, if
Okay.
you know what I mean.
Okay, so the young guys in Gadet, we are looking at Gadet, right? I think that is what you were making reference to. The young guys in Gadet, as I said before, their mindset would need to change. If they do not have that growth mindset that they can improve, that they can change their situation, they can make things better for themselves and their families, they will not be able to go anywhere. So we need to work on that first. We need to work on their self-esteem first. Once that is done, we need to be able to identify their skill set and what they would like to do with their lives. Because I cannot just come in, or anybody cannot, come in and say to them, okay, this is what you should do. No, you allow these people to be part of the decision making and allow them to be, to have an input into what they would like to achieve in their lives. So if, for example, they are saying that, they want to learn a trade. So we are going to repackage this program where they are going to be trained in vocational skills, carpentry, plumbing, tiling. These are the things that they may want to do. There are those who might just want to pursue a sporting discipline. They want to develop a particular sport. Football, cricket. Yet there might be others. I'm sure you know Pablo. Pablo is an artist. Right? You know Pablo, Cutley. Cutley is an artist. Now there are others in the community who might want to go into the music industry. So what do? You have to provide opportunities for those persons to capitalize on in order to develop to their fullest potential. So people have different skill sets, they have different interests, and the first thing that we need to do is to be able to identify those.
And of course, we have
Okay, can I have a follow-up question, please, Ricky?
Yes, we can allow you very quickly wrap up.
Yeah. So Ms. Polius, I understand everything you say, and which I am very glad that you mentioned all of these. Now, my follow-up question would be, what would you put in place to actually get those young men or young women to sit with them, or maybe to actually get that level of how should I say
to engage them, the level of involvement. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, involving in those initiatives that you were just mentioning. How would you actually go about doing that? Because you say you'll do it, I understand that, but I would like to know, what would you put in place to actually get those things done?
Okay, Kurt, let me say to you that there is nothing that is etched in stone. And I cannot sit here and tell you that I have all the answers. Okay? I don't have all the answers. When we plan with the people, with the constituents, with the young people, the youth, we will be able to devise, we will be able to design the appropriate programs, the appropriate strategies that we need to be able to implement in order to meet their needs. But one thing I can tell you is that there is always need for consultation. So we must bring them together. Let's hear what your views are. Let's hear what your concerns are. We cannot plan independent of these people. They need to be part of the planning. So I cannot tell you from where I'm sitting that this is what I'm going to put in place, or this is what I am planning for them. I'm not planning with them. So it is important for them to be part of the planning so that we give them that voice in their own decision making.
All right, thank you very much, Kurt.
And see you soon, Kurt.
All right, okay, bye-bye. Of course, indeed a very engaging part. That's good. You are on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 FM, and as we begin to wrap up our program, and of course we are on flow channel 115. We are on GDV TV. Welcome, caller. Good night. Welcome, caller. Good night.
Good night, Ricky.
All right. Good night, sir. How are you?
Good night, madam. Okay.
Good evening to you, caller.
All right.
Welcome back.
And let me just guide you. Thank you very much. Due to time constraints, I will narrow your contribution, make it short and
I'll
sweet.
be very, very short.
Yes.
Very. First, I would like to good night to Mr. Joseph. Hope you're doing all right, sir. You're your wife.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you now.
Yeah, saying good night to Mr. Joseph and his wife.
Okay, he's not in studio tonight, but
I know that.
I'm sure he's listening. Yes.
And I hope they do all right. And I'd like him to take the bull by the horn and take action against that bully. Okay? Take action. Don't let him get away with nothing. And madam, you're the greatest leader of the planet. So Alan Michael Shastney, you'll be all right. All you want to do is listen to him. That's all you got to do. Listen to him. He's simply the best. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you, caller.
And of course, callers, thank you as we wrap up our program. And thank you. I want to say special thanks to all those who sent well wishes during my time of being on. Well, we'll take our last caller. Good night, caller. Welcome. Hello, good night, caller. Turn down the volume of your radio.
Yes, good night.
Good night. Go ahead. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Yes, good night. I'll make it short and sweet. First of all, I would like to congratulate Mrs. Polius on being the selected candidate for Denery North, which I am from. All I want to know, since I work in that field, what is her plan? What is her plan for persons who work with the elderly? They call it NICE, but now it's SSDF. What is her plan for persons who work with the elderly going forward? That's my question.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, and she will answer. You listen off here.
You play a very important role in caring for the elderly. And I want to say that, like I said to some other caregivers at a meeting sometime about 2 weeks ago, you are valued. Your role is a very important one. And so, I believe that all caregivers, and it is part of our vision as well, all caregivers be given additional training. The training is needed because a lot of the times, some caregivers do not understand that this is more like a vocation for them. You are taking care of elderly. You know, some of those persons go senile. Some of them, you know, are very sick. They are bedridden. They're not able to move around. And you have to give them a listening ear. You have to show them affection. You have to, you know, do so much for them. And some of these workers also, I'm sure you can attest to that, they feel that this is too much for them. We must realize too that at some point in our lives, we may be like those elderly, needing somebody to, you know, to provide us with the very same care. And so in addition to the training that you will, that I'm going to be providing to help you with the professional care that you are going to provide, part of our vision entails the provision of professional care in a daycare kind of facility for the elderly. There is an existing structure that was that has been built. I don't think it is complete yet. It was done by the Apostolic Faith Pentecostal Church. Mr. Senthor is responsible for that, or the pastor is responsible for that, and I believe that year after year or term after term, politicians come in, and I'm not sure if any kind of assistance is given, but part of the vision that we have for Denery North is to provide assistance needed to transform this facility so that into one that elderly people will be given some care during the course of the day as well, to allow family members to go out to seek employment. Okay, so this is another way that we'll be able to assist the elderly.
Listeners, viewers, we have come to the end of Constituency Vibes, and of course, no doubt, we will be having Ms. Police back here again. Of course, you will be hearing more of her, and she'll be articulating more of that vision and that plan for Denery North as we, under the United Workers' Party, transform St. Lucia and build a new St. Lucia. You've been tuned in to 93.1 FM, Sky FM. We are on GDV TV, on Flow 115, and on Facebook. And I'll turn to Ms. Florius for her closing remarks in that regard.
Yes, so Ricky, I want to thank all the callers. I want to thank you as well, the host of the show.
You're most
and
welcome.
Those persons who were listening, who probably did not want to call, but you know, they were just listening and enjoying the show. I want also to extend my gratitude to all constituents in Denery North for the confidence that they've placed in me. I want to thank the Prime Minister, all cabinet ministers, all the other candidates, and everybody who has made this journey quite nurturing or quite encouraging for me. I want to say a special thank you to my campaign manager, Curtly Esteva. He is more than a campaign manager to me, you know. He's everything to me. You understand? And he has been doing an excellent job. And a young person I have as my campaign manager. Wonderful. A young person. So I really want to, you know, give all kudos to him and the rest of the team, the constituency branch, the men's arm, the women's arm, the youth arm, all the canvassers who went out there. I want to thank every single individual who is playing a very important role in this campaign. And so for the constituents in general, I want to say to you that you deserve better. You deserve therapy. After all the concerns and the plight, you need to be liberated. And it is therapy that you need in Denery North to bring about that kind of transformation. You deserve a leader who unites the people, not divide them. You deserve a leader who empowers the youth, not exploit them. You deserve a leader who understands and listens to your concerns and endeavors to address them. Denery North deserves a leader who values them and takes a vested interest in their well-being and that of their families, and not just their vote. Therapy is what you need in Denery North. A leader who cares, a leader who is here to serve you. Now, just as my Boy Scouts would say, they are reporting for duty. Denery North, I am reporting for duty. I'm here to serve you. I thank you all.
Thank you very much. And on that note, we come to the end of Constituency Vibes. And of course, you could see some of the activities and programs that's happening in Denery North, some of the transformation that has begun. And therapy is coming to Denery North. And of course, people will be, their souls would be relieved as we work to transform the entire St. Lucia, of course, including Denery North. Okay, thanks to all those, my well-wishers who wished me well and speedy recovery during my my time of illness. I appreciate that very much. And of course, we look forward to next Wednesday when we continue to bring you constituency vibes. And of course, signing off tonight. Thank you all our listeners and our viewers. You are a very special day and important to us. And of course, you are what makes this program what it really is. And so we value you, we value all the callers, people. And of course, even politics is about an exchange of ideas. So there are some of you, we have two sides, and of course, we do not prevent you from supporting the SLB or any other party.
Exactly.
You want to make a contribution, please do so respectfully. Okay, this is all what we are saying, okay? We don't want you to call. Some people call, they curse, they say all kinds of things. And that is not the kind of St. Lucia. That's not the kind of attitude. That is not the kind of thing that we want for our young people and our youth. We can disagree respectfully and make our point of view and still come together as St. Lucia. Nous tout ensemble. We are one people. Okay? So that is important as we go ahead. I have said before, and I have spoken, I've written about it, the politics by its nature is divisive, but we are adding to it. We are fueling it unnecessarily. So St. Lucians, we are all one people, let us work together. We have different sides, we have different points of view. Politics is concerned with achieving the public goals of society. You have two parties, they articulate the plans, the vision, and they sell it to the electorate, and you have that relationship between the governors and the governed. And so on election day, by the grace of God, by His guidance, because God appoints and elect leaders as well. Whatever the result is, it will be what it will be. But let us not do so fighting one another, attacking one another. Not in church, not in the sanctuary of the Lord. Make sure that those kinds of things do not happen. So let us take a united, focused approach. The kinds of attack and verbal attacks on the Prime Minister and his color and he's white and he's a foreigner.
Necessary.
That is not necessary. Those things are not necessary. We are one people. Let us work together, sons and daughters of this St. Lucia. Let us love the land that gave us birth. Okay, on that note, I am signing off saying good night to all.
Good night, everyone.
People-centered, community-focused, building economic empowerment and resilience in our constituencies. Let's talk. Let us discuss. Constituency Vibes with me, your host, Ricky Alexander, every Wednesday on Sky FM 93.1 from.
Hello everyone, I'm Norbert Williams, right here on Sky FM 93.1. Join me Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for the morning edition of Keeping It Real. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, Minerva Ward joining me from Canada, right near the North Pole. Although it's cold over there, it's gonna be hot in here. Don't you forget, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on GVD TV and streaming live on Facebook. Don't you miss it.
At the Monaco Pasias Combined School. I'm in grade 6 and my teacher is Miss Stanislaus. My favorite subject would be math. I don't normally like it, but my teacher makes it finds a way to make it fun. I also love the positive quote she put up all over the walls. It reminds me to keep going. Also, the new wing is very impressive. The balcony is very large, so at break time I can eat my snack and go for a nice little walk. I also like the size of the classroom, so I'm not sticking on anybody because, 6 feet apart. Before, it was a rocky ride coming to school when I normally take the bus, but now the drivers don't have any complaints now that the district rep fixed it. Before, it was like a rocky, stony road, a dirt road, but now that they fixed it with some concrete and nice tools, it's a smooth ride. I may even fall asleep.
Dr. Rigobert.